There's a reason so many adults over 50 wake up frustrated, staring at the mirror wondering why the weight around their stomach refuses to move no matter how hard they try. Maybe you've already cut back on desserts, started walking more, or even skipped meals hoping the scale would finally cooperate. But somehow, the bloating is still there, the energy still feels low, and mornings feel heavier than they used to. What surprises many people is that the real problem may not begin with what you eat during the day. It may begin in the very first few minutes after waking up. And today, you're going to discover the simple 3-minute morning insulin trick people over 50 are using to help their body burn fat more efficiently without skipping breakfast or following extreme diets. This isn't another impossible fitness plan or some expensive supplement routine. You won't need intense workouts before sunrise or complicated meal plans that leave you miserable. In fact, this entire habit takes less time than making your morning coffee, but what makes it powerful is when it happens. Because according to metabolic researchers, the body enters one of its most important hormonal windows during the final stage of sleep and the first hour after waking up, and most people unknowingly spend that window doing the exact opposite of what supports fat burning. That's why so many people feel stuck. The issue usually isn't laziness. It isn't a lack of discipline either. And it's definitely not because your body suddenly stopped functioning after 50. The real issue often comes down to insulin. Now, insulin gets talked about constantly, but most explanations sound overly scientific. So let's make it simple. Insulin is the hormone that helps move sugar out of your bloodstream and into your cells so it can be used as energy. When your body responds properly to insulin, everything works smoothly. But as the years pass, especially after 50, the body often becomes less responsive to insulin signals. Your pancreas starts producing more and more insulin just to keep blood sugar stable. That condition is known as insulin resistance, and it quietly affects millions of adults struggling with stubborn belly fat, low energy, cravings, and slow metabolism. Once insulin stays elevated too often, the body shifts into fat storage mode more easily. Burning stored fat becomes harder, cravings for sugar and processed foods become stronger, energy crashes happen more often, and many people wake up already feeling inflamed and sluggish before breakfast even begins. That's why simply eating less doesn't always solve the problem. Most diets only focus on calories while ignoring the hormonal environment the body wakes up in every single morning. And that's where this 3-minute routine changes things. Here's something most people never hear explained clearly. Your metabolism doesn't just reset overnight. During the early morning hours, the body naturally releases cortisol to help wake you up and prepare you for the day. Cortisol itself is not bad. In healthy amounts, it increases alertness and helps mobilize energy. But alongside that cortisol rise, something else happens. The liver releases stored glucose into the bloodstream. This is commonly called the dawn phenomenon, and it becomes more noticeable with age. So before breakfast even happens, blood sugar levels may already be climbing, and when blood sugar rises, insulin rises too. Now think about what most people do immediately after waking up. They grab their phone. Stress starts instantly. Emails, notifications, news, worries, social media. Then comes sugary coffee, cereal, toast, pastries, flavored creamers, or juice, while the body remains completely inactive. Meanwhile, the muscles, which are actually one of the biggest systems for absorbing glucose, are still dormant. So cortisol climbs higher, blood sugar rises further, insulin spikes harder, and before the morning even settles in, the body has already shifted towards storing fat instead of burning it. That's the cycle this routine is designed to interrupt. And it starts with one simple minute. The moment you wake up, before checking your phone or drinking coffee, spend 60 seconds activating your major muscle groups. Nothing extreme. 10 slow bodyweight squats. Only go as low as feels comfortable. Then 10 standing marches, lifting one knee at a time. Then 10 slow calf raises onto your toes. That's it. You're not trying to sweat or exhaust yourself. The goal is simply to activate muscles because contracting muscles can absorb glucose directly, helping the body lower blood sugar demand without requiring as much insulin. Even short bursts of movement can begin improving glucose handling, especially for adults over 50 who naturally lose muscle mass over time. Now comes minute number 2. Breathing. This part surprises a lot of people because it sounds too simple to matter, but it directly affects stress hormones. Remember, cortisol is already elevated when you wake up. If stress piles on immediately, cortisol can stay elevated longer than it should, which pushes insulin higher as well. So for 1 minute, breathe slowly. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly for 4 seconds. Then hold again for 4 seconds. Repeat the cycle 4 times. This type of controlled breathing helps stimulate the vagus nerve, calming the nervous system and helping the body shift away from stress mode. Heart rate settles, stress signals lower, and the hormonal environment becomes far more balanced. Your body cannot fully prioritize fat burning when it constantly feels stressed and threatened. Then comes the final minute. Hydration, but not ice-cold water chugged down as quickly as possible. Slowly drink about 16 ounces of room temperature or slightly warm water with either fresh lemon juice or a small pinch of mineral-rich salt. By morning, the body is naturally dehydrated. Even mild dehydration can increase cortisol further and reduce how efficiently the body functions. Proper hydration supports circulation, digestion, energy production, and insulin function. The minerals help improve water absorption, while lemon contains compounds associated with metabolic support and insulin sensitivity. Drink slowly, no rushing. By the end of these 3 minutes, you've activated your muscles, calmed stress signals, and rehydrated your body before breakfast even begins. That changes the entire hormonal direction of your morning. And this is where many people misunderstand fasting. Yes, intermittent fasting can absolutely help insulin levels over time because eating less frequently means fewer insulin spikes. But fasting alone doesn't automatically fix the hormonal chaos happening during the morning cortisol window. Someone can skip breakfast completely while still spending the first hour stressed, dehydrated, inactive, and glued to their phone. In that situation, cortisol and insulin may still stay elevated longer than they should. That's why the combination matters. Movement helps muscles absorb glucose. Breathing helps regulate stress hormones. Hydration supports cellular efficiency. Together, those 3 factors create a much stronger metabolic effect than simply skipping breakfast alone. And after 50, this becomes even more important because the body is already changing in multiple ways at once. Muscle mass declines naturally. Sleep quality often worsens. Hormonal shifts affect metabolism. Mitochondria become less efficient at producing energy. All of it makes fat loss feel harder than it used to. But the body is not broken. It's responding to signals. And when those signals improve first thing in the morning, energy often improves too. Cravings calm down, mental fog starts lifting, fat burning becomes easier instead of constantly feeling like a fight. Then, when breakfast does happen, prioritize protein and healthy fats first. Eggs, avocado, olive oil, nuts, or even green tea and black coffee can support steadier blood sugar compared to sugary breakfasts that spike insulin immediately. The goal isn't perfection, it's creating a stable morning environment instead of a stressful one. So tomorrow morning, before grabbing the phone, before the coffee, before breakfast, give your body these 3 minutes first. Because sometimes the smallest changes create the biggest results when they happen at the exact moment your body needs them most.